Hello, hello, hello. I hope that all is well. This is Adelai Brown, your heart coach, and I want to welcome you to Heal With Me. Heal With Me is our live support group where individuals from all over the world, local, far away, we come together to encourage one another, to lift one another up, but most of all, to embrace the truth in our lives, heal our hearts, and heal our hearts so that we can live authentically on purpose. I'm so excited about being here. I'm so thankful that you're spending this time with me. And I just want to take this time to just celebrate you for making it through the day, making it through the week, whatever it is that you had to get through to get here tonight. I want to say thank you. I want to celebrate you because one thing you need to know is that your life and your living is very important. What you are doing in life, what you're experiencing in life is very necessary, and you are not alone. Okay, you are not alone. Tonight, I am happy about our topic because, as I've told you before, I am Adelai Brown, your heart coach, and I work with professional women to heal their hearts, embrace the truth, and live authentically on purpose. Authentically transform life, which is living on purpose. One of the things that I want you to consider, and one of the things that I want you to think about is how important it is for you to live authentically, right? How often have you been going through your life and doing things, helping people, looking out for people, but you're not like keeping it real for you, right? You there for everybody else, making sure everybody else has what they need, but you're not right. You're not okay. I understand how that is. I've done that. I've been there, got a t-shirt, got a took a picture, did all of that. And so I just want you to know that you don't have to live like that. Excuse me, y'all. You do not have to live like that, and that there is a better way out there for you. And we're going to talk about that. I mean what I say when I say that Heal With Me is a live support group. I've been a heart coach for over 8 years, and as a heart coach, I work with individuals, men, women, and children, and we heal our hearts so that we can transform our lives. Some people will say, well, you're a life coach. I do life coaching, but with heart coaching, we go so much deeper. We are really uprooting the systems, the thoughts, the beliefs that are hindering you from moving forward. So it's very important um, for you to understand what we're doing, because when we get in the thick of doing this work, I don't want you to be looking at your camera or your computer or whatever you're watching this on like, who she thinks she playing with. Nah, girl, don't come for me. But let me tell you, when you start healing, you're gonna feel like somebody is coming for you. People been feeling like I've been coming for them for years, and it's nothing personal. But when you start healing, you realize that it's gonna attack every sensitive, insecure area in your life. So as a heart coach, a coach helps work with what you have going so we can get you to the next level. But as a heart coach, my company and everything that I do is built on three pillars, right? This is like the structure that everything I do is built on, and it's spiritual fortitude, mental and emotional wellness, health and wellness, and personal and professional growth and development. And as you work with me as the heart coach, as you join in to heal with me every Monday night, you share this with others and you actually start to apply some of the tips and the strategies that you pick up, you're going to see your life transforming. But you're not going to see your life transforming absent um you're not going to see your life transform absent stress, absent frustration, absent being challenged, being pushed to um, to go harder, to go deeper, right? In what God is calling you to do. So I just want to kind of give you an idea of what Heal With Me is. I grew up going to like Alcohol Anonymous meetings, Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and I was always amazed at the way people would share and share their authentic stories, and how that sharing would help them, would heal them, but that sharing would also bring about healing for everyone that was hearing. And that's what Heal With Me is. Heal With Me is a support group to support you as you go through life, so that you can embrace the truth and you can authentically transform your life. So this is a space for you to come and you to hear and you to say, you know what? This resonates with me. I can make these shifts. I can make these changes. I can do these things. That's what Heal With Me is about. We are living in a world and a time where we are not lacking information. Everybody and everything is fighting for our attention. So we have to make up in our minds, and we have to make a choice of what we're going to pay attention to, right? So when we join Heal With Me, we're saying I'm paying attention to what it is that God is speaking to me, what it is that God is asking me to do, and what it is that God is helping me to address. Because one thing I feel, after celebrating 8 years of being the heart coach, when I actually committed to coaching and didn't know what that was when I started Heart Talk, which is Heal With Me. We do Heart Talk on Heal With Me, but I started Heart Talk back in 20. I used to call Heal With Me Heart Talk, and I started it back in 2014. And right now, celebrating 8 years, one of the things that I realize is that we have these lofty dreams and these high expectations of ourselves and others. But oftentimes we don't stop and really think about what it's going to take for us to really achieve that goal, or reach that certain level, right? We say, I want to be happy, and I want people to love me, and I want people to understand me, and I wish people would hear me, or experience me in a more intimate way. But if you don't realize how you're showing up in the world, then you will never understand why the world and the people around you and everything around you is responding to you the way that it is. So Heal With Me is a time of reflection. This is a time for you to look at yourself and the world around you. I may talk about something, you may read something in the comments, someone may share something, and you may tell yourself, you know what? I can relate to that, or that might help me in dealing with this person, right? So it's all about being reflective. It's all about being aware of where you are and what you're doing. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that without introduction. But tonight we're talking about a topic that I feel many people struggle with, but many people struggle with, but a lot of people won't admit to it. And tonight's topic is help. I feel like a failure. Help. I feel like a failure. Can you relate to that? Have you ever felt like a failure? Have you ever felt like the life that you're living is not the life that you're supposed to be living? Have you ever felt like it got to be more than this? Right? Have you ever felt like you put so much into it and this is all that you're getting out of it? Can you relate to that? And then what do you do with that? Right? I share often, I talk about feeling like a failure. And earlier in my testimony in my life, and I share that in my book, and if you can watch previous videos if you want to hear a little bit more about those earlier testimonies. But I want to talk about feeling like a failure when you're the one that everybody comes to. You're the one that everybody's expecting to have an answer. You're the one that and you have always produced that, right? But you're in a space right now where you're doing the things, you're checking off the boxes, you're getting up every day, and you're still showing up, but you still feel like a failure, right? You still feel like you cannot get it right. Can you relate to that? I know for me, um, over the past 2 years with the pandemic and just some of the ups and downs that we've gone through when it comes to life and when it comes to um, COVID-19, all of the deaths, the economic um, uncertainties, right? The racial inequalities that have been magnified and highlighted, just personal things. I have found myself having to remind myself, like, look, you're doing okay. You're still here. You still got to push forward. But I realized that, I've been working on healing myself for a long time. I've been working at these strategies and these tools. But what are people doing who, like, still, that you're still believing, I'm not doing good enough? I'm not doing good enough. I'm not doing good enough. So I want you to think about, if any of these statements if you can relate, excuse me, to any of these statements. One, are you happy with the way that you look? And you answer yes or no to these questions personally, or you can type it in the comments if you're on YouTube or if you're on Zoom. But we're talking about help. I feel like a failure. And now you might not use that term. You might not say, I feel like I'm a failure, because that doesn't sound politically correct, especially if you are a woman of faith or a man of faith and you know that certain scriptures that are very popular. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and all things are working together for my good. When you know certain scriptures like that, and there are many others, a lot of times it's almost embarrassing to admit how down we feel, how depressed we feel, how frustrated we feel. And I talked to you guys last week about how this season of life, it has helped me to be more empathetic, because one of the things that I never struggled with, or even dealt with, or even considered it a struggle, was my weight. And over the pandemic, this is something that I noticed myself having to pay more attention to and deal with more. Yes, sir.
I need one uniform shirt, and that's all.
One. Okay. And you also need to take your medicine.
But yeah, I need to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll get that for you when I'm finished with the call. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Oftentimes, when we are accustomed to being the strong one, or we are a person of faith, or we are the one that is always having to figure it out and be the strong one, be the responsible one, it is hard for us to admit how we really feel, right? We often feel like, if I tell how I really feel, can they handle it? A lot of times we feel like, if I tell how I really feel, are they going to judge me? Are they going to critique me? Are they going to um, treat me any differently? Right? Oftentimes, um, those are feelings that people have, and so instead of admitting and that, look, I feel like a failure, I feel like I messed that up, I feel like I keep messing that up, we would never admit that. We just keep creating goals and expectations and aspirations to try to achieve, right? And I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I want to talk to that a little later, but I guess the question is, what do you do when you feel like you're not good enough? What do you do when you feel like you're a failure, right? Think about, how do you feel in your career? Do you feel like you have been successful in your career? Do you feel like you have been doing well? Are your finances where you want them to be? How do you feel about your relationships, your personal relationships? Like, how do you feel about those in your immediate family or your close friends? How do you feel about your extended family? How do you feel about your partner, your husband or your wife? Like, how do you feel about your relationship with them? What do you think when you look in the mirror? Do you feel good about any of these things? Do you feel confident in any of these areas? And if the answer is no, I don't feel confident in it, then what does that lack of confidence and courage cause you to feel? What does that lack of confidence and courage in that particular area cause you to think and feel about yourself? Because tonight's topic is help, I feel like a failure. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of us will never admit, I feel like a failure. A lot of us will never admit, I can't seem to get this right. We just keep coming up with goals and coming up with expectations and coming up with aspirations to try to achieve, to try to cover up and hide this feeling of failure. And I want to talk to you about this tonight because I just want you to know that you cannot keep going about your daily agenda and thinking, if I just get, if I could just save this amount of money, if I could, if I can only get to this particular position in the company, if I could just get my husband to see me or to hear what I'm saying, if I could just say this thing to him so clearly so he can get it, or if there was just a specific way I could express this to my child or my children so that they can know what I'm trying to say. If you've ever caught yourself saying that, it's a very good chance you feel like a failure and you might not even be brave enough to admit that to yourself. And I wanted to talk to you about this tonight because after celebrating 8 years of being a heart coach, there have been many days that I felt like a failure. I would cry and ask God, like, why would you call me to do heart talk, to be a heart coach? And I'm struggling with so many of these things in my own personal life. Like, I'm struggling with, am I good enough? Do I know enough to teach these people or to lead them? Do I really have what it takes? Right? Can you really use me, God, despite the things that I'm struggling with, despite the areas that I come up short? And I find myself falling short a lot. Man, I feel like I can't get this right. Oh, I feel like, a lot of times I have felt that way over the years. But one of the things that I realize is, and every time I felt that way, I realized whether I acknowledged it or not, I can tell when it was taking a toll on me because that's when I would start to lose momentum. So one of the ways that you know that you're struggling with, if you feel like a failure, is you're going to start losing momentum. You're going to start losing momentum. Now, I'm not saying that resting means that you feel like a failure. No. But when you rest and you rest in the Lord, you're not going to ever, ever, ever lose momentum because rest is a weapon and rest is a part of work. Work cannot be completed until rest is complete as well. Because when God created the earth, it said like he created the earth on the 6 days, and on the seventh day he rested. And then we start a new week. So your work um cannot be complete without rest. So I'm not saying that when you rest, that's losing momentum. No, because rest is a part of that momentum being built. But when here is the first way you can know that you're feeling like a failure is you're losing momentum in different areas of your life. It's just like things are slowing down. And the areas that you're losing momentum in, those are the areas that are important. I've been working on a lot of things in the background over the years, right? I've been working over working through a lot of um ideas and thoughts and ways that I can heart coach and reach my people in ways that can really serve them. A part of that work in the background took me through this journey of, am I a failure? Like, am I going to ever get this right? Am I ever going to be able to serve my people and serve them in a way that doesn't feel depleting to me? Lord, show me, show me, show me, show me, show me. And as I have been doing the work, during this pandemic, especially this last year, I felt this heavy pressing that I had to get very intentional and be very particular about um, getting out, heart coaching individuals more on a larger scale, and being able to offer them a program that will really help them, that will really support them as they go throughout their lives. And throughout this 2 year period, I feel like I would start and start and stop, and I would lose momentum because there were times that I didn't feel like I was reaching the mark. I didn't feel like why would God be using me? There have been things that have gone on in my life, in the way that I view my life, and me being a wife, and me being a mother, and me being a daughter, and me being a friend, a business owner. And I'm just like, God, you really want to use me. And as I have been working on making sure that I stay consistent, I've made it harder than it needs to be, because I've up until now, I was just so worried and so concerned about how it looks, and how it's being perceived and how it's coming across. But God does not care about that stuff. God cares about us being obedient and willing to surrender and sacrifice our time, our talent, and our tithe, right? Whatever our wealth is, we're willing to sacrifice that in obedience to what God is calling us to. And what I found is that I could tell also when I felt like I was a failure, not just when I was losing momentum, but when I wasn't focused, right? When I couldn't gain that, I couldn't get clarity, right? Oh, I don't know if I should do this, and I don't know if I should do that, and I don't know if I should do this, and I don't know if I should do that. And what I found is sometimes it's hard to be honest about how clear and how locked in you are, because God will cause you to stand on something that doesn't make sense. God will cause you, the Bible says, and I'm paraphrasing, but the Lord will will make the foolish wise, right? When 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 God called me to do this, and even as I shared a story with you, I realized that God made it very simple when He told me it was time to bring out the Heartcubator. I didn't know. He gave me the name. He I feel like he gave me the name. I feel like he guided me, but I wasn't able to focus. I didn't want to really focus on that, because doing heart coaching and doing the Heartcubator brings so much out of me. It pulls so much from me. It is a lot easier to get on Monday night and do Heal With Me, or do how I used to do Heart Talk. And it's a lot easier to get on here for this hour and a half, have this conversation, and then cut off and disconnect and go on about my own little personal life and do my own thing. But that is not what God wanted from me, and that's not what God wants from you. God told me, look, you gotta focus. And I found that it's hard to focus on things that are intimate to you when you're not sure about them, because we're still talking about feeling like a failure. And so you lose momentum often because you're not focused, but a lot of times you're not focused because you're not sure. You like, you really want me to do this? And I feel like those that are listening to me now, and those that might listen on the replay, like, you might feel like you're not focused, and you might feel like you're all over the place, and you might feel like if you don't get this next promotion at your job that you've been on for 10 years, then what have you been working for? And you might feel like, if this relationship comes to an end, then that's it for you. But what I need you to know is, in this season, you are not a failure. You just need to focus, and you need to be honest about why it's so difficult to focus. See, one thing about me, and I used to almost try to wish this away, is I realize is when God highlights something in front of me, when He highlights something to me, then I know that's something to pay attention to. So it's not enough to say, oh, I can't focus. It's not enough to say, oh, I just can't seem to get this done, or I'm always distracted, I can't get any momentum. My next question, where I'm gifted at, is why? Why can't you focus? Why are you struggling with having momentum? As I've been building the Heartcubator and working on that, every distraction in life has come my way. Why? Because the Heartcubator is something I've been working at literally since 2016. And God has made it so much more clear to me. So I realize, because of the work that I'm doing, Of course, I'm going to feel like I'm losing momentum. Of course, I'm going to feel like I can't focus because this is something that is so unique to me. This is something that is so synonymous with me that you can't go any place else in any other book and find these things because God gave this thing directly to me. And I have put this expectation on myself that if it isn't successful, whatever that means to me, then I'm a failure. And that's not the truth. Because our definition of success, our definition of failure is very distorted and it's very impacted by our experiences in life. And the more you live, my grandma used to tell me, keep on living. The more you live, the more you um the more you live and the more you get yourself exposed to different people, places, and things, then you will realize, no, it wasn't as bad as you thought. You are doing better than you thought you were doing. But if you don't acknowledge the fact that you feel like a failure, you will never experience the success you're dreaming of. You okay, buddy?
Yes.
You sure?
Mm.
Okay. So I want you to think about your life. Where have you felt like a failure? For me, I'll be honest, and even telling y'all this is like, wow, I'm really sharing this with them. The fact that I'm releasing the Heartcubator now, it launched September 1st to celebrate the 8 years of heart talk and heart coaching and celebrating Heal With Me, the Heartcubator from stuck to unstoppable in life and business. It's a self-paced experience designed for you to get to experience heart coaching, for you to really take your life from stuck to unstoppable. It could be multiple areas of your life. It can only be one, but all of the information that you gain throughout this experience will transform your life. And it's information that I have gathered over the years and working with other clients and working within my own life, and seeing these successes. But what I want to tell you is, because I had in my mind a definition, I had a desire for success, and I had a desire for things to work out, but I didn't have a clear cut um, example in my mind of what success looks like, what something working out really looks like. And because of that, I um lost momentum, right? Didn't have a clear focus on where I was going. And so, if you're feeling like a failure, if you can relate to any of these things that I'm saying to you, so because you might not feel like a failure in every area of your life. You might be listening to this like, yeah, some people feel like a failure, but I know I'm doing good. I have a beautiful home. I have a great career. I have a great family, but there's still something nagging on the inside. There's still something that you were supposed to do, or something God called you to that maybe you didn't answer, and you're still dealing with that thing. And I just want to encourage you to really get still and really allow God to work on you so that you can walk in your success. This is not this is not for everybody now, but this is for you. If everybody around you thinks that you're successful and everybody around you thinks that you have it together, but you feel like a failure on the inside, you feel like, I need to be doing more. I know I should be doing more. I know I can get a lot more out of this life that I'm living, even if y'all think I'm doing so good. I want to help you gain your momentum, and I want to help you focus, but you got to get honest and get clear about what's driving these thoughts. One of the things that changed my life, and I stay in this space in my journey of healing and spiritual fortitude and emotional and mental health and wellness. One of the things that changed my life was I realized that lying to myself about how I feel is one of the most detrimental things I could ever do. When I say that I'm okay when I'm not okay, it's almost as bad as like it is as bad as like physically harming myself. Like some people, when they can't deal with um, some of the stress and the pain that they've gone through in their lives, they cut themselves. And the cutting is an outward reflection of the pain that they're feeling on the inside. And it's almost like they cut. A lot of people say, not everybody, but a lot of people say they do it almost to get some type of relief from what's going on in the inside. And you might not physically cut yourself, but what are some of the things that you're doing, some of the things that you're saying, some of the things that you are thinking that are expressions of how dissatisfied you are with your life, how much you feel like a failure? Maybe your momentum is still going, and maybe you're very focused on whatever it is that's in front of you, but you're not focused on the thing God called you to. I can give you an example in my own personal life. God called me into real estate. God called me to be a realtor. I feel like God called me to be a realtor. I don't have a doubt about that. But one of the things that God made very clear to me is my being a realtor did not mean that I was not supposed to be a heart coach. My being a realtor did not mean that I was supposed to just hang up my hat and don't coach people and don't keep progressing forward in the work that He's calling me to do. And though my real estate career and business has been growing and doing well, anytime that I focus more attention or do more in that area and slight heart talk or heart coaching, I can feel the momentum start to slow down. I can feel myself start to feel like I'm all over the place because I am not operating where God called me to be. It's almost like a phone and a charger. And I used this example before. If you have a charger, you have the cord, and you have it plugged into your phone, it's not going to work and actually charge until the other side of that cord is in a power source. And I'm telling you that you might be feeling like a failure. Maybe you lost your momentum. Maybe you feel like you can't get clear. Maybe you feel like you always have to take care of everybody else and you're always taking care of everybody else. And that's why you can't get your stuff done. But what I'm telling you is it's time for you to get connected so that you become aware, so that you can accept the truth about who you are and where you are in your life. Walking around carrying the cloud, the heaviness of feeling like a failure is not going to do you or anyone around you any good. And this faking, this, getting more degrees than a thermometer, getting every certification that a certification can give to you, trying to get everybody to like what you're doing and validate what you're doing, or even trying to get yourself to like it, is going to wear you out. The Bible tells us that our thoughts are not His thoughts and our ways are not His ways. So what that means, I heard someone explain this recently and it blessed my soul. I've been reading that scripture for a long time. But what I heard, it blessed me because when you think about it, and that's Psalm 139, but when you think about our thoughts are not His thoughts and our ways are not His ways, one of the things that I want you to think about is when you're thinking less of yourself, when you're thinking down when it comes to your life, when you're thinking that you just can't do it and you just don't have enough, understand that those are your thoughts, not the thoughts of God. The Bible tells us His thoughts are not our thoughts, His ways are not our ways. So what about when you're acting out what you're feeling, when your actions are less than what God has called you to? You have to go back and get connected so that you can get clear, right? So that you can reassess the situation, so that you can regain your momentum. It's almost like when we start thinking on our own or paying attention to our own thoughts all the time, what we're really doing is like bogging ourselves down. When we stay focused on, oh, I'm a failure, oh, I can't get that right. Like I said, a lot of times we're not going to tell people we feel that way, but we're going to take actions that cause us to take on more things, be more codependent, go out there and people please even more. Because anything to cover up the fact that I feel like a failure. But like I had to learn over the past 8 years, 8+ years, and even more so these past 2 years, is when God has called you to something, you're gonna feel like a failure until you answer that call. You might be losing momentum. You might not be able to focus because a big thing might be that you're not listening to what God called you to do. That's why you're feeling like a failure. And many times what God is calling us to do is stretching us. It is causing us to go deeper than we've ever gone, to build higher than we've ever built. And we don't want to do that. So a lot of times we will implode, suck it all in. We will self-sabotage. And I know, Lord knows, I have been guilty of that. When I'm scared to push forward or don't really know what the outcome is going to be, then I start doing little things. It's conscious or subconscious. It's almost like shooting myself in the foot. It's like putting a hole in my own pocket to lose money with, right? And when I start acting like that, I have to stop and I have to ask myself, why are you doing this? So if you've been feeling like a failure, if you've been feeling like you've lost momentum or you just can't get clear, and when you do feel like you get clear about things, you get them done, but you still feel unfulfilled and you still feel like a failure. Maybe you haven't been answering the call. Maybe you've been doing what you want to do, but not what God has called you to. I just want to tell you that success is yours for the taking. Joy, peace, and happiness is yours for the taking. But you have to be willing to do some things. And tonight we're going to talk about 3 things you have to be willing to do. The first thing you have to be willing to do, you have to be willing to get connected. In order for you not to feel like a failure, in order for you to live the life God has created you to live unstoppable, to get unstuck, you have to get connected. It's just like if a car gets stuck in a ditch, in order for that car to get out of the ditch, something or someone has to make some type of connection with that car. It could be people pushing the car out. It could be a tow truck or some type of vehicle, machine where they hook some type of rope or something up to pull it out. But in order for you to get out of that hole, in order for you to get out of that rut, you're going to have to make sure you get connected. One of the things that I struggle with a lot, and I still have to work through this, and a lot of my clients deal with it, of course. That's why God sends them to me, because I'm working through it and I know what it feels like. But one of the things that I fall back on, especially when I'm afraid, especially when I am unsure and not clear on what's going to happen next, I go back to being independent. I often start pulling away from people, right? And I do that because when I was younger, I did that as a defense mechanism. Like that was how I survived. When something was uncertain, when something didn't seem safe, or when someone seemed uncertain or someone didn't seem safe, what I would do is I would separate myself from that person. And I would separate myself from that person or those people. And what the enemy does is, and you could see this in nature, when when a predator is preying on a prey, it typically goes for the prey that is alone. So if you're ever going to feel and live unstoppable, if you're ever going to get unstuck in your life, you have to make a commitment to being connected. And you're probably like, being connected to what? Being connected to God, getting connected to Christ. That is the first step in my divine heart transplant process. We work through this through the Heartcubator because it is very important. If you're going to change, transform, authentically transform your life, you have to know how that's going to begin maintain and end. It has to begin and end with God. And when you get connected, you reading your Bible and just doing activities daily. We talk about this in the Heartcubator. Just activities that you can do daily to really get connected and build your faith. What you will notice is you start to learn truths about yourself. You start to see what God is saying about you. So that when those negative thoughts that are coming from you don't have to listen to those, because now you know the truth about what's being said about you. So you got to get connected. If you're going to live a successful life, if you're going to get unstuck, live unstoppable, you have to be connected. See, I wanted to get connected to the right people. I wanted to make sure that I network and went to the right event. I wanted to make sure that I oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I wanted to make sure that I went to the right event. I wanted to make sure that I sent the right email, that I got the right text. I wanted to make sure that I did all of the things, right? And those things have their place. There are things you want to do in business, certain practices, certain principles you want to follow. We talk about that in the Heartcubator too. But what I realized was it wasn't about any of those things as much as it was just about me being connected to Christ, understanding where my help comes from, understanding what my true foundation is. And when I find out that that's my true foundation, when I figure that out, when I move in that, that's when my life starts to change. That's when I start to see that transformation taking place, because I'm connected. That connection, just like when you plug your phone into a charger, right? You plug your phone into a charger. That charger, when you plug it into the wall, it is um that charger is transforming that battery, right? That charger is transforming that battery. That battery was dead. And so you connected the charger to the source. And now that source is empowering the charger to bring the power to the phone. When you get connected, when you connect your heart and mind to Christ, what happens is it powers your life. So in the same token of you feeling like a failure, and you can get connected to that power source, and now you swoop around and be like, oh my gosh, that was a success. Oh my God, this was a success. Oh my God, that was a success. Not realizing that I got connected. Where in your life are you disconnected? What is disconnected in your life? What do you need to reestablish? Where do you need to reestablish your connections? These are some questions you need to ask yourself. So another thing we could think about when we think about getting unstuck and living unstoppable and what that means, we want to understand the power of awareness. When you get connected, it brings about awareness. And all of these, we are going through the Heartcubator. Shout out to the ladies that have signed up and entered into the Heartcubator. I am so excited. We're having our first call tomorrow night at 7 p.m. I'm so excited about that. And so we're going to be going through a lot of these things through the Heartcubator, but we're going to be diving in a lot deeper as you do your work. But one of the things you want to do so that you don't feel like a failure after you get connected is you want to become aware. I've heard this term. I didn't come up with it, but I've always liked it. You can't heal what you won't reveal. So if you're walking around feeling like you're a failure in your finances and you're a failure in your relationships, see, a lot of times we get mad. Like I used to get mad at my husband. I felt like a failure as a wife, as a woman, as a mother. And I would never admit that. I just would always get angry and frustrated with him about things, little things. I was always triggered by the same things. And I started praying about it and asking God, talking about being connected, right? Started really establishing that connection. And what God made me aware of was the fact that I was complaining about the same things for the past 15 years. So it was like this gentle conviction, like this nudging, like God really literally made me aware. It's almost like I used to hear the term a lot when I was little. If you're look younger, when you're looking at something or looking for something and you say I can't find it, and somebody will come and find it, and it's like right in front of you. It's like something that's hiding in plain sight. You just weren't aware that that's what it was, or that's where it was. That's how I felt after making that connection. The Lord made me aware and was just like, yeah, yeah, okay, he might have those things going on. Or could it just be this is your defense mechanism because you feel like a failure in certain areas of your life? So instead of dealing with the fact that the feelings and emotions that you have that are adversely affecting you, no, you don't want to deal with that. You want to pick at your husband for every little thing you can notice, because picking at him stops you. It kind of blocks you from having to become aware of what you got going on. mm, Ouch. Amen. That's where I was with God that day. It was so clear. It was like I was having a conversation with myself. That's why, as we that's what Heal With Me is all about, right? Us healing together. I want to share things that help me heal. I want to encourage you to do the same. So you want to get connected if you don't want to live your life feeling like a failure. I'm not saying you are a failure. Matter of fact, I know you're not a failure. But if you feel like a failure, your life is going to fail. Why? Because the Bible tells us, as a man thinketh, so is he. What you think and believe in your heart, that's what you're going to live out and act out. So I want to address your beliefs, because your beliefs are going to impact your behaviors, and your behaviors are going to impact your outcomes, right? Your actions inform your results. And you've been trying to do everything else. You've been trying to work on your physical appearance, right? You've been trying to go back and educate yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with getting your skin right and getting your body right and getting your face right. There's nothing wrong with going to school and getting educated or getting a certification. But there is something wrong with it if you are pursuing that particular goal because you're trying to cover up an insecurity, a doubt, a fear, a worry that you have. That is a problem. Because I'm gonna tell you why it's a problem, because you're being fake. You are not being real. You're not being authentic. And then you wonder why you keep getting those type of responses in your life. You keep dealing with all kind of mess from people. I'm so good to people. I don't know why I'm always so confused. And I don't know why I'm always going through this. Because you have established an atmosphere of dishonesty. You have established an atmosphere of discontentment. You feel like a failure, and you don't even want to acknowledge the truth that you feel like that. So how do you overcome it? You got to get connected. That connection is going to bring about awareness, and that awareness is going to bring about, you know what? Acceptance. Like the GPS locating you to give you your directions. If you're ever going to embrace the success that is unique and synonymous to you in your life, you're going to have to accept yourself and accept your life for right where you are. I'm not saying that you're okay with it. I'm not saying that you're content with it, but you cannot get the proper directions to a location if you're not clear on where you are. And if you feel like a failure, you need to get clear on why that is. You need to really take some time. You need to get into therapy. You need to get in the Heartcubator. You need to pray about it. You need to fast about it. You need to maybe talk to your best friend. You need to journal about it. But you need to get very clear on why you in particular are feeling that way. Because it really doesn't matter what else you do in life. It's all going to be sprinkled with I'm a failure. I feel like a failure. I'm not good enough. And that's just not cool. We don't want to do that. We really um it's almost like when somebody, one of the reasons why we tell people they're supposed to wash their hands when they're preparing food, because if you have germs and bacteria on your hands and you're preparing food, you're going to cross contaminate that food, right? That's why they tell you don't put raw food next to cooked food, because you can cross contaminate that food. But what I want to let you know is that if you have an area that you say you feel like you're confident in your life, or you know you got that under control, but you have this underlying area that you feel like a failure, where you feel like you can't get clear, where you can't ever get your momentum or keep your momentum, where you just feel like, you're just not happy, you're very discontented with that, but you're also keeping a secret, you're cross contaminating your life. You are cross contaminating your life. So if you don't get connected so that you can become aware of what's going on and accept where you are, then you're going to keep bringing all kind of bacteria. And what is that going to do? It's going to keep making you sick. So you might be on the surface acting like, oh yeah, I got this together, I'm good, I'm fine, I'm not worried about that. But deep down inside, you know you're struggling with that. That's a cross contamination. And eventually one side is going to win. And which side is that going to be for you? Is that going to be the success or the failure? It's time to acknowledge where you are. It's time for you to quit running from how you feel. It is time for you to get unstuck. Yeah, I know you keep changing jobs. Yep, I know that one was just crazy, and so you gotta, keep you just, that person on the job was crazy, and that manager was crazy, and all these other people were crazy, but you gotta understand who is the common denominator in this situation. It's time for you to accept your life and your situation for what it is. It does not mean you're content, but it does mean in order for you to get your life the way you think you really want it to be, to what success is, you're going to have to embrace where you currently are. And it's important. And I just want to let you know that you don't have to do it alone. The Heartcubator is a self-paced course that is designed to take you from stuck to unstoppable in your life and your business. When I quit my job back in 2015, because I started Heart Talk and Heart Coaching before I quit my job, I was still in corporate. My background was in healthcare. And I mean, I made good money. I made a lot more money than many people I was around with degrees at the time. My career was going well, in a sense of I felt like I had job security. You know how when you're good on your job and you're really good at what you do, sometimes you can start to get real comfortable and feel like, oh, they need me around here, or they not gonna get it done without me. And I didn't feel that way, but I knew there, I was a intricate part of this business running effectively and efficiently. But one of the things, as I was working there, that was my last like major place of employment. One of the things that God was dealing with me on is I started feeling so discontented with work and doing Heart Talk and writing the books. And I was doing a lot of live events at the time, intimate events, workshops, um, webinars, retreats. And God was really dealing with me um, to come out of that job, to come out of that way of being and that way of thinking. But I felt like a failure because I felt like God was pulling me from an area that I had already found and established some type of success. And He wanted me to focus all my time and attention on something that I felt like How can I make money off of talk about how I feel? How can I build a business off of telling people how I really feel? And then most people get upset with me when I tell them how I really feel anyway. So I was wrestling with that. Like, you really want me to quit my job? Like, you really want me to do these events? Like, you really want me to write these books? Like, you really want me to coach these people and go and speak on this stage and do this interview? Like, you really want me to do this? Yes, he did. And the longer it took for me to do it, the more unhappy I got, the more literally physically sick I got. And this still happens. Anytime I drag my feet to do what God is calling me to do, I'm going to feel like a failure. And so will you. How you break out of that is by taking action. And we talk about all of this in the Heartcubator. So if you're trying to build your business, like, God has called you to do some work. There are things you're supposed to be doing in the community. There are things that you're supposed to be doing in the business arena. There are things that you're supposed to be doing with your family and friends, but you are not doing it because you just feel stuck. It's like, I don't have the money, or I might have the money, but it seems like I just can't get the perfect idea, or I can't get this thing put together in the perfect way, the way I need to get it put together. If you can relate to any of this, the Heartcubator is for you. If you feel like you're a failure, but everybody around you is always complimenting you and praising you for how good you're doing, and you struggle with receiving those compliments, the Heartcubator is for you. If you know that you want to start your business or grow your business, but you're also struggling with that imposter syndrome, like, am I a failure? Like, can I do this? Like, am I smart enough to do this? Can I figure this out? Do I talk good enough to be able to do this? The Heartcubator is for you. If you have ever felt like, I have a story to share, or I have a skill that I can teach, and I want to get this message out to other people, they need to know about this, the Heartcubator is for you. This is a place for you to birth your dreams. This is a place for you to make your mark. But guess what? Not so much with everybody else. This is the place where you get connected to you, where you get unstuck and begin to live unstoppable. That's what the Heartcubator is about. Yes, you hear me talk about healing. Yes, I'm the heart coach. Heart is an acronym for healing, enlightenment, authenticity, revitalization, and transformation. And I coach individuals to do that so that they can live authentically on purpose. But why? Why do I focus on this? Because you need to do what God put you here to do. You're good at certain things. You are into certain things. You have certain desires. Not just because you just randomly have those desires. It's because God has called you to something. Stop doing what's safe. Stop doing what you think is just going to pay the bills. You were created to do more than just pay the bills. And yes, God will provide for you. No, I'm not telling you to be irresponsible. But at some point in time, you're going to have to stop making excuses for staying stuck and start making excuses for your unstoppable life. And that's what the Heartcubator is going to do for you. From now through September the 8th, the Heartcubator is half price. The information is streaming along the screen if you're tuning in live on YouTube now or on the replay. And I'll also put the link in the chat if you're tuning in live in Zoom. But the Heartcubator is half off, a whole 50% off, all because I'm celebrating 8 years of heart talk, heart coaching, and I want to support you. I know it's not about the money. I know it's not about the dollar amount. I know this. But I also know that we have to make a conscious, concerted effort to make an investment in our lives if we're going to see a change. See, we want everybody else to make a sacrifice. But where is your sacrifice? What are you going to lay on this altar? What are you going to bring to the table What are you going to leave behind? Because the truth of the matter is, if you don't want to live a life feeling like a failure, you're going to have to leave that failure mentality behind. You can't get unstuck and stay stuck all at the same time. Like you can't do that. When you start living unstoppable, it creates momentum for multiple areas of your life. But if you aren't going to get going and get connected, then we're never going to get to where we need to be. So so the we talk about healing. I'm talking about you confronting your feelings, confronting your thoughts, right? Because I want you to live on purpose. Like, I want you to live your dream life. I want you to build your dream house. Like, I'm excited to be working on the plans that I'm working on. There are plans that I'm working on, dreams that I have that I didn't even think were possible 3 years ago. I mean, I knew intellectually, but I didn't believe. Like, I believe now. But that's because I've gone through this Heartcubator multiple times, because I'm working this divine heart transplant process, because I don't want to be stuck. And when I start to feel myself get stuck, when I start to lose that momentum in my business, if I'm not showing up the way I know I need to show up, if I'm not growing, if my clients aren't being served the way they need to be served, and I'm getting that feedback, I know, hey, I might be starting to get stuck. I need to get connected. I need to start being more aware. What do I need to pay more attention to? What do I need to accept? Where do I need to take action? When we start to ask these questions are simple, but the transformation that it brings is major. You just have to be willing to accept the answer when it comes and act on it. You're not supposed to feel like a failure, because you're not a failure. But if you struggle with that, and if you be honest, you've struggled with being stuck and feeling like a failure for a very long time in your life, I invite you to get on the call with me. Let's talk about how the Heartcubator might be your best move. Let's talk about some of your business ideas and how you've been working towards them, how long you've been working towards them, the investments that you made or not. And also, let's uncover some of the reasons why you're not living unstoppable, why you're not being successful, why you haven't published that book. Why are you afraid to post on social media about the thoughts and the ideas that you have? Why are you afraid to tell people about what God is doing in your life when you know you need to share the information? Is it that you feel like a failure? Is it that you feel stuck? If you can relate to any of this, the Heartcubator is for you. It's time for you to go from stuck to unstoppable. Go to my website, theheartconnections.com/live live hyphen course, live hyphen course. And you can find out more about the Heartcubator. But if you feel like you're struggling with being stuck, if you're struggling with life the way it has been, and you're tired of going around in circles and going through these motions, I encourage you, enter the Heartcubator and take your life from stuck, your life and your business from stuck to unstoppable. So it's 9:05, time to close out tonight. But just remember, if you are feeling like you're not happy with the person you see in the mirror, you know you're supposed to be contributing more to your life and the world around you than you are. You might be codependent on somebody, they codependent on you. You don't really know how to establish boundaries. You feel stuck. You feel like you can't gain your momentum. There's no clarity. You feel like you can't focus. Remember, get connected so that you can become aware, so that you can start to accept the truth about your life. And once you get that truth and work with that truth, you can take continuous action. And now you go from feeling like a failure to walking and living in your success. Because now is the time. So I thank you all for being here tonight. I thank you for joining in. Do we have any comments or questions? Is there anyone that would like to share or talk about any of the things that we talked about tonight? Anything that may have came up that you might want to comment on? You can type it in the chat, or if you're on Zoom, you can unmute. All righty. Well, I am so thankful for you all being here. I thank you for taking this time to listen tonight. Thank you for being with me. Even if you just started listening or if you've been rocking with me since day one, I want to thank you for your support. 8 is the number of new beginnings. 9 is the number of new birth. Heart Talk and me being a heart coach has been around for 8 years, and that was celebrated on the first day of September, 9/1/22. What that means for me is it is time for new birth and new beginnings in our lives. It is time for us to start anew and start fresh. If you are feeling like a failure, know that that's an old, outdated belief system that is time for you to let go of. It is holding you stuck. And if you want to get unstuck and you want to live unstoppable, connect with me because I'm telling you, what's the song say? This train gonna keep on moving. Like this momentum is gonna keep growing, and you're gonna remember me saying this when you see the thousands and millions of people around the world who have joined the Heal With Me movement, who have joined our heart tribe. Then you're gonna see what I was talking about because God just wants us to get on board with his plan for our life. That's why we got to get connected. Forget what other people are saying. Forget what other people are seeing. What is the Lord saying to you? So get connected with me. Enter the Heartcubator. Take advantage of the half off price now through September the 8th. The best investment. I can promise you this is going to be one of the best investments you have ever made into your life. I can assure you of that. And remember, we are here every Monday night. Every Monday night, getting the links and everything. We're live on YouTube, we're live on Zoom, and live on Facebook most weeks as well. But we will always be here on YouTube every Monday night at 8 p.m. Heal With Me TV. Make sure you mark your calendars. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel, like the video, comment on the videos. Let's learn and grow together. And if you are not a member of our Heart Tribe, our private community on Facebook, you are welcome to join our Heart Tribe. We would love for you to be in and learn and grow with us because remember, when you heal your heart, you transform your life. Think about that. Remember that. Remember, enter the Heartcubator, theheartconnections.com/live-course and take your life from and business from stuck to unstoppable. I am Adelai Brown, your heart coach, signing out. I thank y'all so much for being here. I love y'all. Remember to share this information with any and everyone that you think could benefit from it. I love you. Have a wonderful night, and we will be back next week.